Welcome to episode 2 of Ask the Hokies presented by Cassell Guard. Ask the Hokies is a Q&A video series where we get to know our players a little better through fan questions and submissions. 3 weeks ago, we had our first episode with Kayla King, and it was a huge success, and we can't wait to continue. So our guest today is none other than the newly appointed leader of Coach Young's squad from Reedsville, North Carolina, number 34. Welcome to the show, Mylyjael Poteat.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys having me.
Of course, of course. Last season, Mylyjael was a dominating presence on the floor, and he has quickly become a fan favorite among most of the people in the Castle Guard and around the arena. So, how's it going, Mylyjael?
Everything's going well. Had some nice workouts earlier. Came back, took a little nap. Nice and refreshed right now. Ready to get into it.
Yeah. So far, what have the last couple months been like for you with all the roster turnover?
It's obviously a pretty hectic situation, but I wouldn't say too much has changed within my, I guess, like day-to-day schedule. Get your workouts in, you get your lifts in, you kind of just at least try to stick to a routine as much as you can, but definitely is a lot of, I guess, hectic stuff, drama kind of surrounding you.
You're one of a couple guys that are back, so different for you as a senior leader now. Before we get into questions, I just want all the viewers to take a look on the right side of the screen, and you'll see Mylyjael's social tags linked there, and make sure you give him a follow. That way you can keep up with him throughout the season and continue to support. So moving into our first question, what was your short experience like in the portal? I know you were only in for a few days, but what was it like, and what ultimately brought you back to Tech?
We're talking about like hectic. So it's definitely a pretty hectic situation. You're fielding a lot of calls, a lot of interest. You're trying to figure out what's important to you. You're talking with the people that are most important to you, family, high school coaches, stuff like that. So I'd say ultimately what brought me back, let's say at the end of the day, I kind of felt confident with the direction that our staff was going forward and what Coach Young had planned out, what they thought they could get done with this roster. And once I felt confident that we could have a successful season, it was really a no-brainer coming back.
We're happy to have you back. We all love watching you, so it's a good thing to have you back for one more year. Hopefully, make it a good one.
And then, so are you excited about how competitive this team is going to be next year? You think it's going to be pretty competitive?
I think it'll be very competitive. And I think that's an area that we might have lacked a little bit last year, just day-to-day competitiveness and practice and guys just really going at each other. And I can already tell, and I've been around the guys for maybe like a week and a half at this point, I can already tell that this group is going to get after. We're going to be competitive. Everybody's going to have a chip on their shoulder, which I think at the end of the day is very important if you're trying to get wins.
Yeah, I mean, that's great to hear. We've been keeping up with all the transfers coming in, and I like the emphasis on athleticism that Coach Young brought in the portal this year. So should be fun to watch. What areas of your game have you been focusing on the most so far this offseason?
So obviously you kind of have like it's your bread and butter, what you're used to. I like scoring around the rim, I like being efficient, doing that stuff. So you obviously want to try to perfect and I guess nail that down as much as you can. But I've definitely been trying to expand the game a little bit, work some jump shots, work on handling the ball, and just trying to continue expanding the game as much as I can, while of course trying to stay as efficient as I can and work on what's sort of got me to this point.
The people really want to know how many times are we going to hear Poteat for three in Castle this season?
It's pretty early on, but there's the potential for a little bit there. Obviously, there's a lot of time now. I have definitely been working on it. We've been playing pickup. We've been working out, and I've been getting some threes up. I don't feel too badly about it right now. Obviously, a lot of time to work on it, but I think there's some good potential for that. Let you guys know as we
Nice.
get a little closer.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, we would go absolutely nuts if that happened.
I
Uh,
would too. I can guarantee you guys.
One person asked, you once mentioned law school in an interview. What's your current academic interests as a grad student athlete?
So I just graduated, I guess it's May, so this month, with a degree in sociology. And I definitely have mentioned law school. A lot of people ask, pretty common question you'll get, like, what do you want to do when the ball stops bouncing, or what are your post-playing career plans and stuff like that. I've always mentioned law school. I've always liked the idea of that. So with the degree in sociology, I sort of have a pretty good idea of like how society works, how inequalities work and stuff like that. I've always just really been obsessed with trying to help people, trying to do my part there. So with the law degree going into that sort of thing, as an attorney or whatnot, I think that I could really tap into that. At the end of the day, just try to help people with with the opportunity given. So I definitely think that law school in the future there could definitely be an opportunity. Obviously not nailed down on that, but I definitely like the prospect of that.
I feel like there's a lot you could do with a law degree now, like especially with sports law, NIL and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then if you could pick one thing, what are you most excited for this season?
Doing honestly, just winning games, I think would be if somebody asked me that question, winning games, getting the group of guys together once you come like November, December, really just nailing that down, everybody getting closer, us really becoming more of a unit than we are right now. A lot of good individual talent, but sort of just building that cohesiveness and coming out, winning games in front of you guys. Be awesome.
Yeah, we're all really excited to watch.
I know you guys have only been together for a couple weeks now, or like a week, but how you guys feel like the new unit's gelling?
Like I said, I think that obviously we got a lot of good talent in the portal, as everybody can tell. And you spoke a little earlier about athleticism. I think we got a lot more athletic around the board. I think we got a lot more defensive minded, a lot better defensively across the board too. We got a lot of great offensive talent too. And I feel like a lot of Michael Young offense, or what you sort of come to watch and see out here, is predicated on people knowing their spots and just sort of being comfortable in a system. So I feel like once we can sort of get that cohesion together, I really like the potential. I feel like I'm confident about where I think we could end up once we start hitting our stride as a unit.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously great to hear. Um, Last season, it didn't go the way you guys wanted, but huge respect goes out to Coach Young for rebuilding so quickly, and we're really excited about what's coming this year. Um, One of the guys on Twitter wanted to know what's one thing you wish you had done in high school to better prepare you as a college athlete?
Great question. I think a lot of things that I sort of picked up on maybe later than others, definitely sort of just like embracing that work ethic and really trying to get down in the grind and working hard. That didn't really pick up for me until a little into college. You're getting the multiple workouts a day, and you're really trying to take care of your body. You're eating right, you're sleeping right. You're trying to just do all the things that you can in your power to produce the best product on the floor. So if I could go back, I would definitely try to embrace that earlier. And obviously, it's a process, and you're expected to, grow over time in that. But definitely looking back, I would have loved to have been able to tap into that a little more when I was younger.
Yeah, and so like if you weren't playing basketball, you could like interpret this two ways. You could like for like sports or for academics, but if you weren't playing basketball, do you think you'd be doing anything differently?
Um, So, so I get a lot of questions about playing football, which I think is funny. Um,
Yeah,
you,
we
you
might have one coming later about that.
all right, so I'll stay quiet on that. So, I talked about like sort of the academic interest earlier. So I definitely could see myself pursuing something like that, going to law school, getting that degree, ultimately doing that thing. So I think that would be a pretty good prospect. It's just really hard to envision myself not with basketball and sort of like the development I've seen throughout all of my years of playing. But so that previous career, I think, would be an option. But other than that, I'll save the football talk for the later question then. But I think that sort of answered it.
Nice.
That was pretty much it for the serious questions. So this one was one of my questions. What's one dunk you want to be able to learn how to do or be able to do?
That a dunk.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one. I think a nice between the legs dunk is really it's really cool. I don't think I quite have the vertical for it. Maybe I do. I'd have to try to learn it, but I think that would ultimately be a really cool one to learn. Just a nice little between the legs off two would be nice, I think.
Yeah. That's probably the smoothest one. I'm a big fan of the Vince Carter honey dip. That one's a good one.
I don't think I quite have the range for that one either. That one would be cool.
Yeah, and so some people want to know where the My Mind nickname came from. That's just been around for a while.
Honestly, I have no idea. And not that I dislike the name, it just kind of happened. So one of our GAs for the first 2 years, he's coming back, Trey. I think he was the first person to start calling me my. And it's funny, obviously, my name is sort of long, hard to pronounce. I had never really gotten a nickname up until that point. So it's long drawn out. Everybody's like, what do they call you? Like, everybody really just calls me Mylyjael. And it's like, oh, okay. So then I think Trey started calling me that, and it quickly picked up among most, knocking a syllable or two off of the name, but it's actually a good question. So I will accredit it to Trey. Love Trey, work out with Trey all the time. So I think that he was the first person to start calling me that, and he just picked up from there.
Obviously, you've been here a few years at this point. Who's the funniest player that you played with and coach?
The tough one. I'll start off with the coaching staff. We got a couple, and everybody talks about it. It's not really my answer, but I would like to add, like, just how funny Michael Young is in general. Being around him, he's a funny guy. He has a great sense of humor, so it's really just a pleasure to be around. So he's definitely a really funny dude. But if I'd say the funniest person on our staff, it might be the VT legend Ace Custis. He's a hilarious guy. Obviously, like as a big, you spend a lot of time with him, you're working out with him. I'm always up in his office just chatting. He is a hilarious guy, talks a lot of crap. So it's really, really fun being around him. That probably close second, our strength and conditioning coach, David Jackson, knows how influential he is and all that he does for us. He's a really, really, really funny guy too. Um, those would probably be my answers staff wise. Let's see, players. A lot of time with Hunter Couture over the last couple of years too, and that might be my player pick. He's a really, really funny guy. Just do some stuff that you would not expect him to do overall. Always, always, it's a really fun-loving guy. Never just. So I think Hunter would probably be my answer player-wise.
Yeah, we saw the video last week on Ace's birthday, him throwing down dunks in the practice facility. That was pretty impressive. He still gets up.
It is to be 50. So that's what he does. So every year on his birthday, he wants to throw out a dunk just to show you can still have it. So that was actually his 50th. And he said he was the last time he was ever going to attempt it. So if he can go out on top. So that's awesome. That's very, very impressive days. And he's had some surgeries and stuff like that too. So we're all very impressed. Still made it look very easy.
So this next question is a little super serious. They want to know, what do you like the most about your roommate?
Ooh. How long do we have for this interview? It might take me a little bit to think of something. The great Patrick West. I've been living with him well over a year now. And when I think of something I like about him, I will definitely let you guys know. In all seriousness, he's a funny guy, really fun-loving guy, great to be around. There's really a never dull moment. There's never a dull moment in our apartment. So I think that just being around him, he's a really fun guy to be around, ultimately.
So going off of Big Pat's question there, who do you enjoy dunking on the most in practice, and why is it Pat?
Funny the commenter knew it was Pat. Wonder how they knew that. So it definitely is Pat. And why? Honestly, it's probably just a connection we have, just knowing that I can come back to the apartment, continue to talk crap from dunking on him, and got a nice little friendly rivalry going on too. So that's definitely my answer. I would obviously say I enjoy that the most.
All right, one last Pat question. So would you rather pick LeBron or Big Pat?
Ooh, what are we picking for here? We talking a basketball
I
game?
guess should we do like playing against or playing with?
Um, playing with, I would pick LeBron. I think 100 times out of 100. Playing against, I would pick Patrick Wessler 100 times out of 100. I like my chances against him a little bit better. Let me see for the sake of let me think of something I would pick Pat over LeBron for. Um, if I had to choose one to me and Pat play a lot of PlayStation. If we had to choose somebody to play some FIFA with or something like that, Pat Wessler would definitely be my answer over LeBron.
Do you have a favorite pregame song or pregame ritual that you like to do for every game?
So actually, I say my ritual actually revolves around music quite a bit. So when I come out with whatever set time I have on the clock, I always have my AirPods in, listen to music. I wouldn't say necessarily go to song. I listen to a lot of J. Cole before games. I would say that's probably the artist I tap into the most pregame. So yeah, that's probably it. Listen to a little Kendrick Lamar as well. So probably one of those two artists what I'm bumping pregame typically. And the ritual outside of that, Obviously, got your pregame meal, listen to your music. I take my electrolytes, my water at the same time, pregame, right before you start warming up. Come in, got like some sort of just like rituals. Never have my jersey on under my warm ups. I'll put that on right before we come out for the last time. Other little stuff like that, but not too superstitious and stuff like that. So a pretty basic ritual, I'd say.
I never had much of a routine when I was playing sports. But so there, what's your opinions on bennies?
You know, I don't think there's a place like it in Blacksburg in terms of late night eats and just late night vibes in general. I love the Bennies. I know a good amount of people that work there. Love spending time with them. They're all awesome. Spend a lot of time in Benny's. They're really just overall great vibes. I think very, very highly of just the place itself and all the people that are behind it.
Yeah, they got a lot going on over there.
They definitely do.
I mean, I'm from Jersey, so I'm a little biased with pizza, but I'm gonna go out there and say Benny's is pretty good pizza.
Benny's is very good pizza. You get the massive slice too. And I'm always big on just the vibes too. You pop out there after a little night off, it's late night after midnight. It is just great vibes. They're playing good music back there, so it's always a good time.
We promised we had a football question. What would you do if Coach Pry offered you a spot on the team? And what would you play? What position?
If he offered me a spot, I would probably respectfully decline it just for the whole basketball thing. But in theory, I'd always say I would like to play tight end because just catching touchdowns is a very appealing thing to me. But I think maybe my talents would best be suited. I think I'd be a solid defensive end too. Definitely think I could get to the quarterback. Maybe like throw 100 pounds on me. I can see myself as a good O lineman too, maybe. So definitely could be some potential there in a couple of different situations. But I'll say tight end if I had to say one answer.
I have a feeling I know who this question came from, but you have any thoughts on the Hokie Pep Band?
It's obviously like, I'm very big on that. Whenever anybody asks, I think that just the environment that we have at our home games is just. I don't think there's really anyone like it at all. Environment there with the fans, like you said, the band. So really high on them. Sort of like the energy, the juice, and just I guess the overall vibes they provide for us is really you can't even like put words to it. So we're obviously like, very thankful for them. They provide a lot for us, and so overall, I think the question was just the thoughts on it. I just think they're all awesome.
Yeah, because I mean, I remember last year I went to a couple of the games during winter break and there was no band there and it was completely different. It was a little bit quieter. The vibes weren't as high as they normally are.
It is complete different vibes. So just having them in your back pocket, it's just like you said, the vibes there are really immaculate, I would say.
What's your favorite non-basketball thing to do in Blacksburg?
Favorite non-basketball thing to do in Blacksburg. So I really don't do that much. If I'm not like in the gym, on the gym doing something related, probably in my room. I play my fair share of video games. I like doing that. Play some sports games, some Call of Duty, some stuff like that. I actually just listen to a lot of music, like recreationally too. Outside of that, just really like hanging out with friends and stuff like that, really. So not too much. Obviously, a little night on the town every once in a while. I love going downtown as much as the next person, but really not too much that I'll do outside.
Thoughts on the new college football game coming out next month or 2 months?
I'm very, very excited. Hope a basketball one is in the works too. I think
Oh
that
yeah.
would be awesome, but really excited. Like everybody, I remember playing those games back when I was a kid. So I'm really, really excited. I definitely like our football team too. I'm really excited to use them. So now I'm really excited about that overall. I already have it pre-ordered on my PlayStation.
Just adding off of that real quick, do you have like a favorite video game that you play? I know you said FIFA or Call of Duty, but do you have a favorite?
I've been playing a lot of FIFA recently. So that would probably be my go-to right now. I'll go in like phases in and out. I'll play a game a lot, then I'll get tired of it. But outside of that, probably Call of Duty is what I play the most outside of that.
What's your biggest fear?
Ooh, a good one. I have to think on it for a second. So in terms of like, I guess biggest fear, guess I could go like really deep here. Obviously, I'll say like losing someone close to you would obviously be like a really big fear of mine. Um, I guess on a more like lighthearted sense, um, I know I'm a large guy. You might say, like, oh, the 6'9", 265-pound man, but bugs and insects aren't really high on my list. I wouldn't say I'm as I think scared might be a push to say I'm fearful of them, but like if something like long and like has like more than four legs around me, I'm probably gonna be a little uncomfortable, and I'll try to remove myself from the situation as quickly as possible, I would say.
Very valid.
What's your favorite memory as a child? Could be basketball, something else.
Ooh, that's a good one. So growing up, in my family, we used to road trip a lot. Like from North Carolina, we would like drive to California, do that. I know my parents had visited like 45 or something like the states. They like to do that growing up. So growing up, we would road trip a lot, and just like those long drives, vacationing, stuff like that with my immediate family was probably some of my best memories I think I have growing up.
What's the weirdest thing you've been asked to autograph?
Ooh. Think about it. I don't think I've been asked to autograph anything too weird. I think just like people's just like bodies in general. Like maybe they want me to autograph their shirt or like a hat or like a poster or whatever, and I'll just get like, "Hey, can you sign my wrist?" or like something like that. That's a little odd to me, but I don't think I've had any really weird autograph requests actually.
I think Kayla King's answer was forehead, so that seems to be like the common thing, like body parts.
Definitely, I would say, yeah.
What's a movie you've seen way too many times?
Ooh. So recently, it was actually probably like within the last like 3 months, I saw Interstellar for the first time. So you guys have probably seen that.
Mm.
And it was actually funny. Going into it, I was expecting just like a movie or like some dude going in space or whatever. I wasn't really aware of like everything behind it. And then like you watch the movie, you cry a couple times, you get all that, and it's like, wow. So then within the last couple of months that I've seen that for the first time, I've probably seen it probably close to like 10 since I've seen that. It's a really good movie. I love that. So that's one that I've watched a lot recently, I would say.
Yeah, it's
And
a
I
super
guess,
good movie.
yeah. I'm also a big fan of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I've probably watched all of those Avengers and the Captain America movies probably way more times than I'm willing to admit. Um, so definitely a lot of those two, I would say.
Yeah, and then who is the most impactful teammate you've had? Like, I mean, could be high school, middle school, college, any of them.
Good question. I definitely think I'll go with one of the teammates I've had here. Talked a little bit about Hunter earlier, and I think especially like coming into Virginia Tech as a transfer and not really knowing what to expect. Somebody like Hunter, who's like a leader, who's been here before, who you know what to expect. Having somebody like that, like in your corner, who you know you can ask questions for, who can kind of just like give you that sort of guidance, somebody who's done it before, stuff like that. So I'd say that's probably somebody that definitely like you rely on a bunch, sort of going through that process. So in terms of that, probably say that's one of my most impactful teammates. But at Rice, coming in as a freshman too, the team captain at the time, Chris Mullins, he's probably a really big one too. Just coming in as an 18-year-old, you're not really knowing what to expect at all. Just having, I guess, like I talked about Hunter, just like that older presence, somebody who knows what to expect, you know what to expect from the coach, sort of just have a good idea of the college basketball landscape. I'd say that one's a big one too.
Just to add on to that real quick, you're gonna be one of the team captains for this next year, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so you just answered that question, and a couple of those guys were team captains. Are you kind of excited to be able to be that kind of role model for some of the younger players on the team?
No, absolutely. I think it's sort of like a much as like I love doing, I feel like it's sort of an obligation as well, as much as I just love to do it on the outside. Because, like I said, you've been around the game for a while, gotten acclimated. Especially, we got a lot of new guys too. So a whole new group of guys, you don't know what to expect. Like I say, our coaches do things differently. Our strength coach will do things differently. Our trainers do things differently. Sort of the process around it's all differently. So it's just trying to give the new guys coming in, you know, all that you can. in terms of just like advice or just sort of being there if they need anything. And I do think that's especially big for, young players coming in, because it's obviously a really, really big adjustment coming in as an 18-year-old in the scene, especially just how sort of the landscape of college basketball now. So definitely excited and, looking forward to being able to give everything to the guys that I can.
Yeah, we've said it like 3 times now, but we're excited about this, where this team's going. Obviously, a lot of big personalities on this team. That was all the questions we have for you. Do you have anything else that you want to tell Hokie Nation that you think they should know about you or the team this fall? Anything that you want to say?
Anything else to know about me? Obviously, I want to voice how excited I am for the upcoming season. Excited I am for all of you guys to come out and support us, and I think we're going to have a successful season.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being on with us.
Yeah.
Thanks for everything.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.